I really like Archie Tiger's alt, or what do you call this?
The icon?
Custom icon.
What was I? I actually missed it. It went away now.
It's like a Priestess of the Moon thing. It looks pretty cool.
Looks pretty cool. That you guys can't see. No. Anyways, let's go ahead, though, and jump into game number 2, because like I said, they have actually already loaded into the game itself. So game number 2, VtL taking on One Trick Pony. Let's take a look. All right, I'm just letting them know that we are ready to go. So we're already in the game, though, so that doesn't matter.
I was gonna say.
Well, they loaded in and they were saying, oh, crap, we forgot to ask them. We're okay. I'm just letting them know it's okay. You know, everything's fine. It all worked out. All right, so, again, we got off to a little bit late of a start. So
I see. They wrote they didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
so
fine.
all good, all good. Anyways, obviously switching up sides right here. So One Trick Pony on the Legion side, VtL this time on the Hellborn side. They're planning to try to stay alive here in the Diamond Division, cycle number 3. And, well, of course, advance further on, and you're in the loser's bracket. So you lose here, you are done. But at least you will be staying in Diamond at this point. So, well, going away with some points and some prize pool. But the blind banning phase, Keeper of the Force, Wild Soul actually from OTP. So the Legion side doing the Keeper of the Force ban. And then you had Tempest Wild Soul from VtL. So Wild Soul being overlapped here. And as a result, only 3 blind bans instead of 4. So, but again, nothing crazy about the blind bans when it's all said and done.
Yeah, well, Mikey's is actually locking out Engineer and Moon Queen now. Maybe he has a thought about taking one of those. But, of course, he is second pick, so that's one thing you need to make sure to worry about. Yeah, Wild Soul blind banned by both teams, actually. They don't want to deal with that hero at all. Keeper of the Forest blind banned. I find it interesting that Storyfighter actually blind banned both Keeper and Wild Soul. Like,
yeah.
I can see blind banning one of them, then maybe picking up the other, but blind banning them both seems kind of interesting to me.
Yeah.
His next 2 locks are Magnus and Draconis, so tons of very strong things in the lockpick pool, but not exactly what we usually see in the lockpick pool, which is like suicides and junglers. Those have kind of not made it their way into the last lockpick pool, and they haven't made it into this one either. So I'm talking about heroes like Plague Rider, Bubbles, Tort, maybe even Tundra, and then, you know, Ophelia and Parasite, things like that. In fact, Ophelia is still left unlocked right now and goes through the entire locking phase without being locked. Probably going to pick up a ban right here, and last lock from Mikey's is actually Pebbles. So I find that kind of interesting.
Well, this series from the first game was very support heavy in the first game in the lock pool, and now this game it's a mix of carry support really. I mean, obviously you got a Pebble Stone in there as well, but my point being, we're so used to seeing nowadays a mix of the suicide, especially on top of the occasional jungle if they're left open after the blind ban phase. So yeah, it's very interesting that this series kind of gone that route. And so you mentioned you have Ophelia still on the board, very likely going to be banned here. I mean, unless One Trick, well, obviously you would think by VtL, because One Trick Pony, if they still see Ophelia there in the picking phase, I mean, they would probably snap first picker. So
yeah,
Parasite in fact is banned right there by VtL. So there's the Fade ban, and sure enough, there's the Ophelia ban. So Mikey's very aware of that and doesn't want to give them that option. But yeah, a little bit different in this game in that sense. Going with the more support carry heavy rather than the usual suicide jungle heavy lock pool. Jeremiah ban right there by OTP. And now the final ban coming up for VtL.
Yeah, and right now, I think if I'm OTP, honestly, there is Moon Queen and Draconis in that pool, and you can utilize either one of them as your carry if you so choose. But I think establishing a very, very strong mid lane is going to be the best route to go. And I actually would first pick Pebbles out of the lockpick pool if I was them. So I would be looking for heroes to match up very good with Pebbles, something like a Glacius. Now, obviously, you can't bank on getting a Luna's second pick out of the lockpick pool because there's a good chance you won't get him. So I would secure a support here first, or a suicide hero like, say, Plague Rider would be very, very strong. Now, last time VtL took out Bubbles, which is strong, they go with the Wretched Hag. Now, this hero has been so popular lately, picked up very, very often. But I really think that Plague Rider would have been, I think, a little bit of a better pick.
You talked about the last game, too. I mean,
yeah. Now Tundra's also left unbanned as well. Now, that hero seems to get forgotten every now and then, but every single time I see it picked up, it's like, it's that person's reminding me about just how strong Tundra is. Like, that hero is a very, very good hero. Now, it does make it a little bit more difficult as far as the laning phase because you usually want to run Tundra mid because of his good lane presence against 2 heroes he can spam out the wave, still get good CS and good experience, and also has good rune control. But, you know, I think he's a powerhouse.
Yeah, he really is one of those heroes, and it's rare to even notice that he's unbanned going into the picking stage because you just expect him to be banned. But sure enough, is open here. We'll see if either team takes advantage of the power of Tundra, but not just yet, as Master of Arms Bubbles is going to be picked up here by VtL. So apparently VtL, another one of these teams that kind of values Master of Arms, and I know you've made the point, and from what we've seen here on Oncast, it just doesn't seem like he's had the most success. So.
I think he could work out as like a semi-carry or carry, but as a support, like I said, I've given him a chance. I thought he could be effective, but I don't know. I've just been watching him, and again, I said before that I just can't put my finger on it, but he just never seems to do it for me. Like, he never seems to be effective. He always seems to make some kind of big plays with his ultimate, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
And his stun is pretty crappy. Like, it does have a long like cast range and slow cast animation. And especially against the Wretched Hag, who can blink away from that. I would have rather had a more rapid stun like Glacius' Ice Imprisonment. Or even a Tort stun. An open Tort stun is much faster than the stun from Master of Arms. So it's just not my it's not my pick. I don't really prefer the hero at all. Bubbles is fine, though.
Yeah. You see the right click of the Tundra over there from One Trick Pony, so obviously they are aware that Tundra is definitely still open on the board. So we'll see if Story Fighter picks him up again for this round of picking, or if decide once again to pass him up. But obviously plenty of options. You mentioned the idea of perhaps wanting to get something like a support here, so maybe something like that Glacius or the Torture even. And sure enough, it is going to be Glacius and Rhapsody, actually. So going a couple of support here. Glacius, Rhapsody coming out here from One Trick Pony. So going to see some good old Rhapsody. Excited to see her.
I think they could have gone Glacius plus Jungle pretty easily. Like Glacius plus, I guess the only one there is Legionnaire.
Yeah.
And it would have been effective, too, because even if VtL did some kind of crazy thing where you're like, okay, we can pick up Pebbles first. This is based off the idea that they're picking Pebbles first. And so you go Glacius, maybe Legionnaire, and then you go Pebbles first. Even if VtL goes both Moon Queen and Draconis, you could still carry a Luna. That would still work out. Or you also have, as your backup plan, as Wretched Hag can be your late game carry as well. So it wouldn't be the end of the world. Rhapsody, not the biggest fan. They're already very squishy early on, this OTP team. Wretched Hag's pretty squishy early on. Even with a blink, it's still pretty squishy. Glacius, obviously, and Rhapsody are both pretty squishy as well.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how that works out for OTP. Again, yeah, there probably are better options out there, but I always am a fan of seeing a hero like Rhapsody, who we never really get to see too often in the competitive scene, especially, and seeing her potential, because I love her ultimate. I mean, her ultimate obviously brings a lot to the table in the team fights, and sure enough, you mentioned the Legionnaire. VtL actually takes advantage of that, seeing that One Trick Pony passed up really the only legitimate jungle option left. So VtL can use that. There's the Pebble Snap pick, as you're referring to. So you expect VtL to go something, either that Draconis or Moon Queen here, then probably something like, well, I guess maybe even a Magnus here. Could be possible, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I decide to do, but
I think Pebbles is just a superior pick here, and I think it's going to be very effective against anything that VtL does right now. I suppose Magnus plus maybe like a solo top, so like Draconis. They're going to go with Moon Queen, though, so that tells me maybe a solo Magnus. Okay, so Moon Queen or Magnus. I don't know about this, because that's going to tell me maybe Master of Arms, Magnus mid.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Moon Queen against a long lane, it's probably going to be, well, they actually could man up with the heroes, and maybe that's their idea of going like Pebbles, Rhapsody, Glacius top, Wretched Hag mid, Draconis bottom. And that would be very, very good against the Moon Queen if that's what they're probably going to do, is a solo short Moon Queen.
Yeah, that would actually cause a lot of troubles for Moon Queen and VtL. But that's the thing. It's like, can they make an adjustment to that? Not really.
Not really.
I mean, what do they do? So it seems like that actually would be a very good idea for OTP in terms of what they want to pull out in this game. But we'll see what it is when it's all said and done. We are, of course, loading into what is game number 2 now here in the Losers Bracket, round number 2. VtL taking on One Trick Pony. One Trick Pony, of course, up 1-0 here in this best out of 3 series. So waiting on Glacius, the good old wooden computer, to load in, and then good old Archie Tiger a little bit behind here.
His computer is frozen.
I love when we do that here on Honcast. Did you type something?
No, I accidentally hit my enter key.
Oh. Okay, going to pause the game here to start things off. But, yeah, again, excited to see the Rhapsody. So going back to Rhapsody, and I was actually thinking about this when we saw the Rhapsody pickup and the potential of either having Draconis or Moon Queen for that matter. Again, the realistic use of it probably isn't there, but her third ability, the Arcane Hymn, is actually pretty cool when you think about it. You know, how it does the aura effect that it gets. I'm not sure the radius actually doesn't even say on the tooltip when I scroll over. She probably has to get a level into it, but anyways, it does the magic armor penetration, as well as it makes your magic damage do lifesteal for yourself. Now, I believe she needs to be fairly close to you for it to have an effect on you, but you think of a hero like Draconis, and like Moon Queen for that matter, but of course they have Draconis on their side, he has a decent amount of magic damage that is coming out all throughout the game, honestly. So that's something to keep in mind that you know, I was even thinking maybe even going for a build, passing up the Disco Inferno and just going Arcane Hymn Staccato. No, that sounds stupid, but eventually, you know, in the late game stage, if it gets to that point and Rhapsody somehow manages to get some decent levels, if she gets at least a couple levels into that Arcane Hymn, if not maxed out, then that could be a pretty good tool for Draconis to take advantage of. So, in terms of the lifesteal and the armor penetration. So, anyways, kind of just.
I guess if there is one hero that Rhapsody's passive Arcane Hymn works well with, I guess possibly Draconis, because he's a carry hero that utilizes a ton of magic damage. But other than that, I think the spell is pretty terrible. Like, the
well,
one.
So much for that phrase that I'm trying to put out here.
I'm sorry, but like
way to shut me down, Trev.
The 1, 2, 3, 4 magic armor penetration, like in theory, it's like okay, cool, yeah, lower the magic armor. But how often is Rhapsody really going to be in the fray of someone jumping in and bursting someone down with magic damage, like a Wretched Hag or a Blink Pyro? Like, not really. Unless the aura radius is like 1,000. I don't know what it is.
I think I will say, yeah, I think it is fairly low. It doesn't actually, I can't find out where it says, but I believe it is fairly low, so I do agree with you there.
And here's the biggest thing. I mean, that part I can deal with. That part is not too bad. It's even like think about it. Pebble's blinking in. It's like he's not going to be anywhere near it, so he's not ever going to benefit from it. But even then, I think the spell is okay. That part's fine. But this magic lifesteal is just so worthless. Like what hero that's bursting with magic damage needs to gain life? Like that doesn't make any sense at all to me. I just think that spell is just
awkward.
Yeah, it's
just kind of a fun ability, but might not have much use. So yeah, okay, you're right. I mean, I'm sitting here trying to, you know, have fun with it, but
but like I said, if there is one hero that I could work effectively with, it's Draconis.
Yeah. So they got that working for them, I guess. Her ultimate, though, again, it kind of just sounds Rhapsody.
It's amazing.
It is. I mean, and what I like to bring up when we talk about her ultimate, what is it called, by the way? It's
Protective
Melody. Awesome. Anyways, you don't need to full duration it. You don't need to channel it. You just simply need to use it before that big ability happens. If you use it, say, if Legionnaires try to decapitate some, or actually, I don't know if that would work. The decapitate would probably still go through, I say.
Cool boy. This is where we need
this is where I brought up I brought up something we're unsure about, sure enough. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's actually interesting. I never thought about that. I want to say decapitate goes through, because doesn't it decapitate even go through a curse, even if he has the ultimate up when he's below the life? Again, that's another thing where I don't know. Again, I'm sure chat will call us idiots for either way when this eventually catches up, and we'll see.
I want to say it wouldn't work with Rhapsody. I don't know. Again, I don't know for sure, but we'll find out.
Anyways, my point being, you know, something big like that. If you use it just before that and it completely nullifies it, then you've already accomplished the ultimate. So that's the point that I'm bringing up.
And,
but yeah,
and it's the sheer reason that I haven't seen Rhapsody enough or played Rhapsody enough myself to know that the answer to that question. And that could be one of the reasons why maybe Rhapsody is a smart pickup. Is, you know, when you pick up heroes that teams aren't familiar with, is they don't exactly know how to play against them or what to expect in many situations. So, but yeah, it is going to be a tri-lane top here as expected against this Moon Queen, and she's going to get absolutely nothing. And if they get a little bit of their levels up, like maybe level 2, maybe even level 3, and if they get a ward behind the tower, they don't even need that. But if they just find the right opportunity, they can dive Moon Queen over and over and over. And like you said, they really have no response. Like it could be possibly Master of Arms to come up here, but why the hell would Master of Arms come up to assist Moon Queen in a dual lane against a tri-lane? They have to try to have her just soak up as much as she can, just try to do the best she can, but it's going to be very, very negligible. In the meantime, Legionnaire has actually already predicted the tri-lane and has gone to the Legion jungle, so that's good for him. And if they're able to play this passively, as long as Moon Queen doesn't feed too badly up here, granted, Pebbles is going to get a very, very fast portal key, but at least they're making the best of a bad situation. Yeah,
Rhapsody is right now trying to find Legionnaire in the jungle, but obviously, as you mentioned, Legionnaire is actually in the Legion jungle, so she won't be finding them right now. Moon Queen will...
Sorry, I meant Master of Arms.
Oh, okay.
He was taking a lot of damage. I thought Rhapsody was actually going to come behind with a flank, but actually walks over this other kind of weird direction. Yeah, look how much he actually took a lot of damage on that.
He does want to go in. The rune did spawn top. It is an illusion rune, and they're going to go in right here. Wretched Hag jumping in. Master of Staccato will get the kill right there. Znui on Rhapsody will pick it up. Magma's trying to get a counter kill on Wretched Hag. It's just not going to happen though. So the flank a little bit later than expected, perhaps, but eventually is accomplished. Now that Disco Inferno is kind of worthless right there, because that's kind of a downside of that ability. You put it down, but you have to literally stand still on top of it to take advantage of it. So
yeah,
I thought that was kind of funny. But anyways, good bloodlust kill coming out in favor of OTP right there.
Yeah, that was well played. And actually, right there, you saw exactly why I don't like Master of Arms. Is he didn't have a chance to stun. Like, it takes a long cast range, or sorry, long cast time. And through the staccato stuns, it's impossible. And they timed that really nicely. Wretched Hag, he knew that even though he was taking a lot of damage and it could have been turned on, that Magma's stun was only level 1. It doesn't do much damage. Master of Arms spells were both level 1, doesn't do that much damage. And she knew that she could man up like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, well executed by OTP, and very bad news for VtL, frankly. So, as far as the start of this game, Legionnaire is going to roam back to his own jungle here. Of course, the downside of him being in the Legion jungle is that they even blocked the pole spot, as you would expect, so he was kind of one camp down. Granted, at his own jungle, it is kind of the same situation, so well, not the biggest deal in the world. Wretched Hag does pick up that illusion rune. She has her bottle actually picked up as well now. So Wretched Hag looking to be, despite 2 versus 1 to start here, and not having that bad of a start, and Rhapsody has kind of shifted to make this more of a 2 versus 2 lane. And Moon Queen, you expect this, and we're kind of seeing it. She's actually at the yellow camp right now, just farming as much as possible because there's just nothing that she can do with the top side. And that also means Storyfooter on Pebbles here is 100% free farm, and boy, that creep farm is looking good. 27 and 14 now. That has to be near perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, he's looking pretty damn good. I mean, action in the mid lane, no, it's not nothing's gonna happen. Wretched Hag is pretty, like I said, Wretched Hag is pretty damn good against Master of Arms, and was able to camp the rune. It did spawn top. It was illusions, and in the meantime, there is a rune bottom that Rhapsody is covering herself. So good rune control, and they actually might be able to turn this. Yeah, the level 2 HoN is applied. Stun was already used for Master of Arms. The stun from Magmus might now, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. I think that actually Wretched Hag might be able to man up. Or will he? Has a Sonar Scream. It's only level 1. If he can use a couple auto attacks, though, it doesn't matter. Rhapsody's there as well. Zibba actually gets credit for the kill. So good rune protection coming out from Snaui.
Yeah.
And Zibba. They're on top of those runes like crazy.
Yeah, very well played indeed. I mean, he wanted to try to get Wretched Hag to pick up the rune, but in the end, that worked out perfectly because that baited Master of Arms into trying to get the rune himself, and sure enough, they got the turnaround kill on him. So well played. Rhapsody now at the bottom lane. She already has boots, as you can see, so very good start for Znui here. They're going to try to go for bubbles now. You see Draconis flying in with the Blazing Fight, a couple of auto attacks. There's that Dragon Flame. Is it going to be enough for the kill to take cover? Mitigating a little bit of damage right there. A couple of more auto attacks coming out from Rhapsody, but now Rhapsody needs to be careful, and Rhapsody will be turned down. Well played by Fear the Zap right there. A little bit too much commitment coming out from OTP, specifically Znui, as Rhapsody dove big time on the tower.
Well, I think that was miscommunication. Like, even though Draconis was low, it was Rhapsody that was tanking the damage from the tower at that moment. And it did switch targets back to Rhapsody after a little bit of exchanging right there. And I think that was just a little bit of miscommunication. I mean, Rhapsody knew that the Shell Surf was down. He felt like they could man up onto him. But just if they just went all in on him really, really quickly, they could have got the kill and then maybe got out. But it was kind of a risky play. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
But there was certainly a little bit of miscommunication right there.
Yeah, I just keep looking back at this Pebbles up here. Again, I don't know the exact the math here, but his creep farm really has to be near perfect. 43 and 25. It just seems like he's hitting every single creep kill when I keep going back to him.
Well,
so
there's 8 creep kills a minute, and he's sitting at
6 minutes.
Yeah, 6 minutes. So 48. Yeah, he's basically perfect. He missed a couple.
Yeah, darn.
But wait, no, there's also the heavy ballistas that spawned. Oh, they just spawned though. So
yeah.
Yeah, no, he's missed a couple, but yeah, basically near perfect. I mean, 47 creep kills, 6 minutes. He's looking pretty good. He's looking towards that. He already has Steam Boots, 1,000 gold. He's looking at about a 9-minute portal key with Steam Boots.
No big deal. Moon Queen, on the other hand, only 9 creep kills, and I'm sure a lot of that even came from the jungle, as we saw her in there earlier. So.
And what do I say all the time? The hero that needs priority is a hero like Pebbles, especially like Pebbles or Magmus. And look at the counterpart, Magnus. What does he have? 23 CS? That's not nearly as good. And to be honest, you know, Magnus with that much farm early on is not nearly as effective as Pebbles is.
Yeah. And well, Magnus is actually the top on his team, which makes it even worse here for VtL. So yeah, not too good. Legionnaire being a lot distracted here, I should say, as both Glacius and Rhapsody in the jungle trying to really distract him. In the meantime, Wretched Ag actually just going back to the middle lane, going to continue to farm. But the supports here are really boxing out Legionnaire and making it very difficult for him. But you look at the mini map right now. The Hellborn team collapsing. Disco Inferno's placed down by Snooey. Well, he's in a lot of trouble. Nice Magnus that actually hits Glacius as well. Backblast perhaps from Wretched Ag. No, it's not going to be. She doesn't even have it just yet, despite being 6. Glacius will fall right there, so 2-0 exchange so far, and we have all 5 players from VtL joining the party. So good response there, you could say, from VtL, as the harassment was getting to be a little bit too much, and they make the supports pay right there with a couple of kills.
Yep. In the meantime, you have Draconis pressuring that bottom lane. Send themselves some extra some consumables right there with the health potion. Is going to be just fine for now, and he's still just down here pounding away at this tower. His CS is actually really high as well, just about 50. But yeah, look at Pebbles. He's nearing he's actually over 400 gold per minute now, and just needs another 400 gold, and he'll have basically now an 8-minute portal key if he gets all these creeps up here, and he will. And he's going to be able to initiate on everybody, except maybe the Legionnaire. But even then, by the time he gets his portal key, he's probably going to be level 8 here very shortly.
Yeah. And
he can initiate on basically anybody, and it's a free kill. I mean, this is going to be very, very devastating for VtL.
Yeah. It's definitely really starting to snowball early on, just like the first game, unfortunately. So we'll see it's kind of funny because you look at it's 3-2 right now in favor of VtL when it comes to hero kills, but obviously that's just one of many stats that are very important to look at. Wretched Ag does Steam Boost delivery, but she has Master Robs with him. Is right on top of her. I don't think the damage is going to be nearly enough, though. She just stands her ground, in fact. Magnus is the one in a lot of trouble. The HoN is on top of him. That may eventually take him down if he's not careful right here. He's just sitting in the Steam Bath. He should be fine, but they do get the turn kill, and there's a Sonar Scream. Double tap picked up by Exhibit right there. Magnus, he was in a very awkward spot. It was a catch-22. He could run, but he would become visible, and very likely would have died anyways, or he could just try to sit there and be sneaky. But, of course, Wretched Ag just uses a Sonar Scream and eventually picks up the kill. Wretched Ag may again be in a little bit of trouble. Both Legionnaire and Bubble's going to collapse. There's a kill field coming out. The taunt was used as well. There's the decapitate, and Wretched Ag will fall when it's all said and done. So at least they do get her killed finally. But meanwhile, at the top lane, Pebbles, guess what? He has a portal key, and guess what? He gets a kill right away with it. On a Moon Queen right there, so it's already begun. He actually showed himself where I thought he shouldn't, and it made it very obvious to Moon Queen. And they did have a ward behind this tower right here by Snowy, and Moon Queen saw the Pebbles portal key, hid right here, and then tried to make a getaway, and was very close from escaping, but Pebbles was just barely caught him on the edge of the stalagmites and was able to get the kill combo with the toss right after that. So well played by both sides, actually. But I mean, what can a Moon Queen really do against the Pebbles with a portal key at this moment? Like nothing. Yep. And now the jig is up. Everyone knows that Pebbles has a portal key, and that's going to make him play even more differently. And early on, 10 minutes in, with about a 6K gold lead, and Draconis, who it's not like also they have Pebbles and they're all in on this early game strat. They also have the late game secure with both Draconis and Wretched Hag. So things are just working on all they're banging on all cylinders here on this Legion side. Yeah, speaking of Draconis, I mean, again, he's been kind of quiet, but he's at 363. He's stacking the camps himself, and he's farming them now. I also saw something pretty funny right there, kind of interesting, actually. I wasn't fully aware of that, but it makes sense. Anyways, the Fiery Barrage, it actually blocks spawns for you, or it will block spawns. He actually attacked this creep right here to pull it and then stack it, but as a result of the Fiery Barrage, they didn't stack, so I thought that was kind of amusing. But Bubbles will get comboed. They were trying to chase down Rhapsody, but bait big time. Master of Arms now joining the party, as well as Legionnaire. Great taunt coming off right there. He's going to go for the decapitate on Rhapsody, but no, Magnus stuns in and actually will get the kill instead. Mikey's actually gets credit for the kill. Anyways, they got the kill. That's what matters. Pebbles is going to run away, though, as he does have his Steam Boost switch in intelligence and is ready to go back in, perhaps, if they want to try to commit to something, as there is support nearby. But his mana pool isn't the greatest right now, so might not be the most ideal situation right here. But Wretched Ag going to try to chase, or maybe distract him with Illusion. The real one puts a Sonar Scream on Magnus, though, as well as a HoN. Here comes Pebbles. The Stalagmites will barely connect, and that shoots it up. No, the Steam Bath's going to come, and a big counterplay coming up from the Hellborn team. That decapitate on a Pebbles right there. Wretched Ag will pick up the kill on a Magnus, but at what cost? Wow, can he blink away? Yes, he can for now. He's on the run. Bubbles is chasing, though. Does have a nuke up in 4 seconds, actually. But the bottle charges from Wretched Hag. It looks like it's going to keep her alive. The Shell Surf going to be attempted. Oh! Trying to guess right there, but no. Wretched Hag should be fine, taking the tower damage. Blinks away again. Moon Queen comes in from the side, though. The Moonbeam hits, and down goes Wretched Hag. So very well played right there. At least you get some counter kills coming up for VtL, actually. So
Yeah, they're getting some counter kills, but again, they're using every single member of their team to do so. And in the meantime, you do have Draconis that's just farming away at the jungle. And Pebbles, he did die right there, but he's still going to be able to just respawn, come back, and burst anybody down, except for Legionnaire. You can't burst him down. But other than that, it's a free kill. And actually, well, what do you know? Takes out Fear the Zap. I didn't see it, but I'm just assuming exactly what happened.
Guess what? Jumps in, combos, and dead. He also had a Gravelock charge when he died. So again, 10-second fat, and especially this early on, that's huge. It really is. I mean, it adds up. So very good for him. Bat Blast going to hit Magnus right there. A matter of time before he ticks down, most likely. He stuns out. There's the final auto attack, and the HoN should get him killed. As knew he actually picks it up just in case. Wanted to make sure. Story Footer on Pebbles picks up the top tower in the meantime. Again, one-trick pony, just like the first game. It's once again proven to be a fairly entertaining game, so that's a good thing, but it is now... So 9-7 hero kill lead, not taken off by any means in that sense, but you look at the other stats, nearly an 8,000 gold lead, 3,500 experience lead, just now hitting about 13 minutes into this game. So all across the board, looking pretty solid here. For one-trick pony, because again, he keeps going back to as much action as this has kind of been back and forth. Draconis has literally just been farming this whole time. Regidaga's going to get caught out, actually. She got a little bit distracted, and as a result, she gets turned on. So again, good job by VtL, at least getting a counter kill. But now you have Draconis, who's cleaning up what looks like to be triple stack Ancients, and he has already surpassed 415 gold per minute. He is well on that way to the early Nullstone.
Absolutely, and they did get a counter kill on the Hag right there, but it just doesn't really matter at this point. She has a lot of farm as well. She also had a Gravelock. I think it was charged as well because she came up really, really fast.
Yeah, I believe it was.
Has a haste rune bottled up. She's going to come down up the bottom and TP to farm this just a little bit. Pebbles, what's he got? And actually, Magnus helps assist with some Ancients right here, but Moon Queen actually does level up the Glaives right now before even touching Lunar Glow. And I think actually maybe just 1 point of Lunar Glow is pretty effective, but wants the Glaives just to be able to farm as fast as she can, but not hitting for very hard, as you can see right there. It's going to take her some time to take out even these Ancients right here, even with the assistance from Magnus Ultimate.
The Eruption, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not working out the greatest right here, so I'm going to go back in, use the Moonbeam, and eventually pick them off very slowly, but obviously need to be careful not to accidentally die right here, as they do quite a bit of damage, as you can see. But yeah, she's trying to recover as much in farm. Obviously, it's still struggling big time. I mean, she's still, despite cleaning up most of these Ancients right here, when it's all said and done, she might barely beat 200 GPM. As she's going to finish that one off right there. Yeah, she's going to barely just be over 200 gold per minute, so not the greatest start.
She didn't get it.
She didn't even get that last one, so Master Farms took it. He needs a farm, man. He's got his boots. He needs to upgrade those. Legionnaire, he's kind of been doing his thing too, and it is showing. I mean, he's at 290 gold per minute. So right now we got Saint Rox, who's again playing the Legionnaire for the matter. The last game it was the mid Legionnaire. Of course, this time the usual jungle Legionnaire, and not too shabby. He has steam boots. Actually, he has a Helm of the Black Legion here, as well as a Mystic Vestment. So he's got the tanky part taken care of. Really could use that portal key though for the initiation purpose, but
this is.
Go ahead.
Oh, this is a really great lineup for Draconis, too, because they don't have a jungler. At the same time, they have a very strong initiator with both Hag and Pebbles. Actually, in the meantime, Pebbles combos down Bubbles in the meantime, or very, very quickly. I'll let you take over, Bridge.
Magnus stuns in, catches two. The Moonbeam on Pebbles right there. Magnus not able to rupture, though. Of course, he used it on the Ancients earlier, so now he's trying to fall back. Staccato stuns happening, though. He'll eventually fall as a turnaround in favor of the Legion team right now. A 2-for-0 exchange actually coming out for the Legion side. They're going to go for the tower, maybe even more. Actually, Pebbles jumps in. He wants Legionnaire. Again, pretty damn tanky. Moon Finale in the background, though. Probus picks up a couple of kills right there on Moon Queens. A little bit of overplay coming out from One Trick Pony. Great Bat Blast. Oh, there's a combo from Pebbles. Will it set up the kill? Yes, it will. Get the kill on the Legionnaire. There's the kill on the Master of Arms. The Moonbeam hits Pebbles. A one auto attack made to him, and the tower probably gets. Oh, the one that destroyed from Pebbles right there with the portal key. And as a result, Story Footer will stay alive after the double tap. Perfect timing with the portal key to avoid death to the tower at the very least. In the meantime, at the bottom lane, look at Draconis diving big time. He's going to take a stun from Magnus, though, and now Draconis is not out of the woods yet. The Kelfield coming out. He's going to Blazing Fly, trying to juke and jive, but he will most likely fall right here. Draconis caught out big time. So One Trick Pony, I mean, you don't want to be giving them kills like that to get VtL back in this game, but still, when it's all said and done, they are still in a very good spot, of course.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was just an absolutely silly play by Fuzi. Like, there's no reason to do what he did right there. But what I was going to say is that the way that the OTP set up their lineup is really smart, actually. They have two very strong initiators in both Pebbles and Hag. They gave Pebbles a great lane. They knew it was going to be going up against something solo short, either, well, it basically had to be Moon Queen. And if it wasn't Moon Queen solo, actually in the meantime, Storyfighter gets another kill on the Guifix.
Yeah.
And is looking very, looking to get a very, very early Hellflower now as he picked up the second Arcana. But they knew it was either solo Moon Queen or dual lane Moon Queen. Either would work because they have a passive jungler in Legionnaire. And so they knew that their tri-lane would work. So they have Pebbles initiating, but they don't have a... My point is they don't have a jungler that's going to soak up the farm for Draconis. So once he got some levels, he just free-farmed in the jungle like crazy after pushing up that tier 1 tower. And it wasn't like he was being contested at all. And this is why we saw such a very, very early nullstone on Draconis.
Yeah, and you see him picked it up right here. In fact, again, another jump in this. A Master's Call used actually on a Pebbles to save him. Pebbles getting turned around on Rhapsody joining the party. She does have her ultimate if necessary. Maybe try to save. No, will not. Decapitate goes off, and down goes Pebbles. Bubbles was killed, so 1-for-1 exchange right here. Magma's going to take a Bat Blast as well as a Staccato Stuns. Should be fine, though, will Guifix in the end. But again, a 1-for-1 exchange. Still, I think the Hellborn team can be at least somewhat happy with that. The fact that they got Pebbles killed at least. Pretty good news. Was there something else that happened? No, those are just streaks ending. So, oh yeah, good job right there. And the Guifix now 8-2-2, or not Guifix, but actually Pebbles on Storyfooter. Storyfooter playing Pebbles. You know my point. He is 8-2-2 actually overall, but he was even over 500 gold per minute actually just before that death. And you talked about he already has a second Arcana purchase, so he is on his way to a very quick Hellflower here, following up the Steam Boots Portal Key route. So, just an excellent start for him. Again, Legionnaire, he's working on his own portal key. He's only about he's about 1100 right now saved up, so he is getting there. And Moon Queen has gone up and up at least. She's now up to 260 gold per minute here. At least she broke that 200 GPM mark and is trying her best. She will actually finish a Whispering Helm here, as she just purchased the Hungry Spirit and it's on its way. But again, VtL, just things are not adding up right now, and it's going to need a lot of honestly, just mistakes to happen from OTP as far as a little more overextending and whatnot to try to get back into this game. But Pebbles is going to jump in, and Moon Queen will tank the damage, though. Pour coming in from Bubbles. Will he Kelfield? Yes, he will. Legionnaire jumping in as well. Doesn't have enough mana for anything else, but he's going to charge on top of Pebbles. It's not going to see the Magma sitting as well, and Storyfooter, right as I say it. Okay, a little bit overkill there, but right as I say it, I mean, they're going to need overextensions, and, well, there's one right there.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get too complacent. I mean, it is a Moon Queen. You do have a very, very farm Draconis, but Moon Queen, I think, is a... I don't know. I feel like they're both kind of equally matched in the late game, but Moon Queen's a bit... they're both... I don't know what I'm saying. They're both pretty easy to play. As
both
you get
right clicks.
Yeah, you just kind of press your buttons, your R buttons, and then just roll your face on your keyboard, and the rest does itself. But, yeah, you can't get complacent. You don't want to give them any kind of edge back into this game. And he jumped in there. He should know right now that the combo is not going to kill Moon Queen. Like, that was a pretty silly misjudge there by Storyfooter.
Yeah, again, not the biggest deal in the world, but you don't want to do too many more of those, or else all of a sudden, before you know it, Moon Queen's farmed, and you're being like, well, crap, we had this game. Denying the tower at the, the bottom lane, actually, coming up from Bubbles right there. Granted, that was a secondary tower. We're not even 20 minutes into the game, so, I mean, sure, it's denied, but that's still pretty bad for them. The fact that they lose that vision, and, of course, the port plays too, and everything else, so... as we talk about from time to time. So, Moon Queen, though, again, she has the Whispering Helm, was able to help turn around the kill on the Pebbles. She has another 1,200 gold saved up, so she's doing what she can here in the jungle, but that is also splitting farm in a sense with Legionnaire. And, I mean, you can kind of tell both of them are just continuing not to really take off. They're both around 290 gold per minute, actually, so, again, not doing horribly by any means. Legionnaire is getting very close to that portal key now, and no doubt that will play a role. Ooh, the Minotaur stun just a fraction of a second late there on a Pebbles. As Busk was trying to be a little bit crafty there with the Whispering Helm takeover minion, but Pebbles a little bit too quick with the fingers and Portal Keys away in time. So having the Portal Key on Legion there, though, again, at least that's going to give them that initiation tool, of course, and maybe some chance for him, the Magmas and Bubbles. Granted, they're not going to have their Portal Keys for a while, but this gives them the chance to maybe roam around a little bit and pick off some kills here and there. But
yeah, absolutely. Portal Key is fantastic on Legionnaire. It's very core, and it's one of those things that really makes the hero him. Like, he does so much damage. He's able to initiate on certain heroes and kill them immediately, like Wretched Hag. I mean, Wretched Hag is a fantastic hero, but a hero like Legionnaire can kill him in just one go. Similar like a Pebbles, actually. Except that is a lot more tanky, does a little bit more AoE, and has more sustainability in fights. But yeah, good pickup for him.
Yeah, more Ancients cleaned up, though, by Draconis. I mean, he's not only level 15, but he just passed the 500 gold per minute himself. He is actually, and there's one Hellflower finished on Xibbe on Wretched Hag. I believe Pebbles might have finished his as well. I saw him purchase a Steam Staff, so maybe he actually still needs to finish the third Arcana. Okay. And then he'll have his own Hellflower. So they're going to have 2 Hellflowers. They're going to have, well, more than likely be a Shrunken Head here on Draconis. If he wants to go, save for the but he could just actually go straight into a Savage Mace, I guess. But yeah, he'd probably get the Slayer first if he was doing that. So yeah, there's the Arcana in fact purchased by Pebbles. So we're gonna have a couple of Hellflowers now coming into the next fight. But
Draconis now has enough for his Shrunken Head if he so chooses.
Yep. Yes, he does. So we'll see. Maybe after clearing up this camp if he goes ahead and purchases that. But Steam Boots are Bubbles actually. Ooh, he got on there by the Hellflower Wretched Hag. Barely able to survive though, tanking the damage despite even a Bat Blast being used right there. So I'm sure the take cover helped, of course. So good getaway in his part, and he gets the Steam Boots delivered. Again, he's trying to just recover the best that he can. Nowhere towards that portal key. The Legionnaire using that new portal key and actually finishes off Exhibit there on Wretched Hag. So again, the portal key on St. Rock's playing the Legionnaire, already having an impact, and at least some good news for Vitriolic. So
yeah,
trying to take advantage of that.
Getting a little bit sloppy. Not to say that they're in a bad place at all. Like they're still further in the lead. They're still massively. The biggest thing is they're massively out farming the Hellborn team with the scary jump potential now that they have with the 2 Hellflowers, 2 Blinks, and the 2 good initiators being in both Hag and Pebbles.
Yeah. Sorkin has been just finished on Foods. In fact, it's delivered right there. So he's got those really solid core items. Moon Queen. She is continuing to farm away here at this top side, doing a pretty good job of at least picking up the little farm that seems to be on the map right now for Vitriolic, but she is now past the 300 GPM mark, as you can see, and working on that Shrunken Head now next with a Mighty Blade purchase. So she can manage to get that going to next 5, but I don't know if that's going to happen because look at where the Legion team is right now on the mini-map. Moon Queen feels something is up. They don't really have vision themselves, but she just knows with everyone missing that probably would be pretty risky to keep pushing. So she's going to fall back. The Minotaur is actually going to be picked off by Pebbles right there. So maybe actually that spotted them and eventually dies. But we could now, if you're Vitriolic, do you want to try to take a fight here at the tower? Or you just say, you know what, come at our base and see what happens. But
well, they have no warning up at all. Like they don't have any vision. They can't see the enemy team. So for that reason alone, they should not be fighting outside the base whatsoever. It's just too risky.
I mean, Legionnaire is kind of up there, but yeah, looks like Vitriolic kind of agrees with you. It's just not worth it. They are going to fall back. This tower will easily be destroyed in favor of One Trick Pony, and there you go. That's a good credit for it. So, good tower kill for them. The only outer tower remaining now happens to be this middle tower here. Magnus is currently farming there. He needs to get away. As you do see, again, looking at that mini-map, the Legion team moving over as a squad, and as they really should be, especially at this point in the game. That's where they have a big advantage, of course. So, moving together as a team, it really limits chances of Vitriolic. So they're probably going to finish off this last outer tower with ease as well. And that'll pretty much leave the base left here for Vitriolic. So, of course, they will have the uphill advantage and whatnot as a result of that. But, I mean, Magnus is off to the side, but again, he doesn't have a portal key or anything like that. In fact, they're going to jump on a Legionnaire. Oh, it ports away in time, though. Legionnaire actually ported in, it looks like. Gets some spins off. We'll take it, Rhapsody. Draconis dropping by that Shrunken Head. That Cataclysm Megasol spreading the damage as expected. They already get the 1 kill into Bubbles. Moon Crew joining the party, though. The Moon Finale going off against the Shrunken Head. Going to minimize damage there. But Pebbles gets decapitated. He will fall. Boundeye drops as a result. And Draconis falls back, but in comes Red Jack. Son of Scream. The Bat Blast to finish off Moon Queen. Takes out Master of Farms. And just like that, the Hellborn team is completely cleared out. Magnus did buy back, but he gets in just a little bit too late. Now he's in a little bit of trouble as he has an eruption still. He's going to start channeling. He's going to try to get a counter right here. Oh, he's done a little bit too early. If he let it finish, he could have had a kill on Draconis. Yeah. But as a result, he will die instead, and Draconis will live, and it ends up being a genocide officially for One Trick Pony.
Yeah, a couple things about that. Fantastic combo by Storyflutter by chucking, I believe it was Magnus back in, and getting a good double stun onto Magnus and Bubbles. And there might have even been 1 hero left in that little area as well. Oh, Bubbles comes in with the kill field, and Zibba blinks out, kills himself. Bubbles also probably going to get the deny on the tower, and that actually goes to Mikey. So again, a little bit of sloppy play, but before the sloppy play was good play. And again, you cannot discredit a lot of the support players and support heroes that don't get enough credit, but Archie Tiger did so much damage that fight. His ultimate just cut through Magnus, through that steam bath. Yep. Got a kill right there. Also assisted on getting the kill on the Moon Queen over towards the right, and then some more damage from the Thunder Blast as well. So Archie Tiger did a lot of damage that fight on Glacius.
Yeah, and actually, something I noticed, he was level 8 while Rhapsody was level 10, but now he's level 11 while Rhapsody is level 10. So he must, been pretty effective in that fight. Got some decent levels from that fight alone, I'm sure. So definitely good for Archie Tiger. And
it made me, it reminded me of yesterday when we saw Glacius on, who Who was it that we were watching? I want to say...
Yesterday.
Was it 007? Or no, it was... Maybe it was Complexity versus Lions. But we saw a Glacius player. Remember when we were like, what are you doing? He was pushing up all by himself.
Oh, yes. That was the Complexity series, I believe. Yeah, that was the Complexity.
Right. Actually, some action here on the Pebbles as he gets caught here by Legionnaire. There's a stun from Mammoth. So the stun, actually, the Stalagmites hit Bubbles as he ports in. And, wow, Pebbles will be fine, actually. So, that was kind of a miscue right there. I don't think Bubbles actually had his kelp filled up. It just came up right there. So it didn't have that to work with.
It was a Seal Kid from Lion, I believe.
Okay, well... yeah, well, I was just mentioning that because I remember saying, Glacius is a hero that actually can scale quite well to the late game.
Yeah.
As a support hero, it can do lots of damage, and right there is a good example as to why and how much damage Glacius can do in these team fights.
Speaking of damage, Draconis has, I'm guessing, a level 2. Yeah, level 2 Shieldbreaker actually is his item of choice, so his weapon of choice, you could say. So not going the usual Savage Mace route, instead going the Shieldbreaker route, and is going to, of course, finish to level 3 once he gets the 1,000 gold. So, again, they were in a very comfortable lead. So, but if this was a more serious game, would you have a problem seeing the Shieldbreaker of a Savage Mace?
I don't. I don't know. I'd much rather get Savage Mace on Draconis simply because of you have that massive attack speed, and being able to get the chance to proc that Savage Mace a lot more with the attack speed is a smart decision. So. Yeah. This will be a little bit more flashy, and the negative armor is good against all their heroes. In fact, it's good to have one of those on your team if you can afford it. But yeah, in a more safe game, I think Savage Mace would be the better pickup.
Yeah. I mean, actually, you look at Legionnaire, he only has 6.7 armor right there. He charges, so he gets a little bit, but when he taunts, obviously, he gets quite a bit. It's, what, 20 armor, so...
I wonder if the negative armor is applied when you use the Cataclysmic Assault, because that would be reason enough to get it.
Yeah.
I mean, the Savage Mace procs, right?
Yeah, so, I believe so.
I don't know why this wouldn't apply the negative armor.
Yeah, so it's just like... it's somewhat a split shot. It does the same thing, right?
For
second archer, so...
Yeah.
I believe it works the same way as far as the mechanic goes. So yeah, I mean that could be even more reason. So getting something like a Frosted Skull for that matter could be pretty effective in that case. But anyways, yeah, so he has level 3 Shieldbreaker now, again, just kind of continuing to farm, but we'll see when OTP feels comfortable. Still no Kongor attempts even coming out just yet. Granted, we're only 29 minutes in. It feels like keeping her a little bit later, but only 29 minutes in, coming up to the half-hour mark here. In game number 2, of course, OTP up 1-0. Trying to sweep the series here against Vitriolic, and of course, again, in a very comfortable spot, but Vitriolic is definitely hanging in there, knowing that, well, basically the cycle number 3 Diamond Division lives are on the line here. If they lose, it is all over for them for cycle 3, and it'll be the end of the road. So we do see Legionnaire actually purchasing a ring mill there on his way to possibly that barbed armor. Or did he finish it? No, he just got the ring mill, so good armor for him. But again, we've talked about that in the past, how very powerful tool, especially against a hero like Draconis. So
yes,
that's going to be good to have, of course. And right as I say, Kongor, it seems like the Legion team's somewhat interested, but not really going for a Kongor kill just yet. The Bound Eye into Rhapsody, he's scouting around, trying to maybe find some vision, but as you can see on the minimap, there's really nothing for Vitriolic right now. Only this ward of sight here on near their tombstone in the jungle, so not much vision for them, unfortunately.
Nope, and this is going to die very, very quickly. Obviously, the negative armor doesn't apply to Kongor, but they have so much damage and right-click damage, especially from Pebbles as well. And look at that, die so damn quickly, even at the 30-minute mark. And Kongor goes down. The Token of Life is up onto the Dragon, the Dargon. And look at their lead. They have, they do get a counter tower push right there, but it doesn't matter. I mean, their lead is so huge at 20,000 gold. 16,000 experience. Yeah,
I mean, Moon Queen does have enough money for a Firebrand here, but again, that would put her out of buyback range. So it's really one of those catch-22 situations. You're behind. I almost want to say you kind of need to take a risk here, it feels like, of just getting a Firebrand, getting that more damage, and hoping for the best, because they're clearly going to push into your base. And so if you die and you buy back, I mean, you're doing minimal damage anyway. So to me, it feels like just go all in here, purchase a Firebrand. And then just hope for the best, but she's still sitting on the 2,500 gold. So,
I think there's a good rule of thumb though is, anytime you're being pushed into your base, buyback is I think a little more essential because you can buy back and be right in the middle of a team fight. Whereas if you're pushing up into someone else's base, you have time. Like if you fail the fight for them, like oh go counter push, well then you have time to respawn. So I think it's much safer to just save for the buyout if you are being pushed into your own base.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if they all jump Moon Queen before she's able to get like a shrunken head off.
Well, that's the other thing too. I mean, that's if she shrunken heads and still dies anyways, and it's like you buy back, but you're literally, I mean, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to do anything as Moon Queen. You may just sit back, throw a couple moon beams out, but you'll be very vulnerable at that point. So, I guess I can definitely see both ways, but obviously her route is the one that you're kind of advocating, is just save it for the buyback. It looks like at this point she has now 2,700 gold actually pulled up now. So now OTP, they aren't breaking into the base by any means just yet. Of course, Draconis did choose not to go the Savage Mace route, so not able to take advantage of the uphill, procs on the tower. So it's maybe taking a little bit longer because of that, but still, they are pounding away at it as you would expect. Granted, with bubbles and especially a Master of Arms, I mean, we don't see him often, but he is a very effective counter pusher, of course. Granted, he's not really using the goo right there. Cataclysmic Assault activated by Draconis, and he's just using it really for the attack speed, trying to finish off the tower, but he's going to Blazing Flight away before he gets jumped on, as it was running out anyway. So,
right.
Of course, it is a very short cooldown. Only a 30-second cooldown. Not the biggest deal in the world. It'll be up by the time he needs it, so.
Yep, look, it's up and just a couple more seconds.
That's ridiculous. 30 seconds.
Pretty crazy. In fact, that was one wave. That was one wave.
Yeah, one creep wave, and oh, look at that. I get it again. In fact, always going to be Tana right here. Here we go. The null zone is deactivated. The spins are coming out. Moon Queen with that Moon Finale. Draconis will probably fall right here. He's going to go. No, the Rhapsody's here at the last second. He will eventually fall, though. And down he goes. Going to come right back out, though. Cataclysmic Assault was there? Oh, no, there it's now used. And look at the spread damage from the Jargon coming out. Magnus is probably going to fall right here. Master of Arms and Legionnaire already dead. Magnus will end up falling as a double tap coming out from Fuzi on Draconis. Moon Queen, she ends up buying back as expected, preventing the genocide officially from happening. But again, the damage has been done. It was a decent start for Vitriolic, but there's just way too much power over here for One Trick Pony. They're going to easily push through the middle base here, and nothing more that Vitriolic can do. So again, the game may not 100% be over. I don't know, maybe not concede here yet, but it's pretty ugly at this point.
Yeah, especially with the Moon Queen buying out. So that means her farm has just been hindered so much right there. There is actually the vote to concede. GG's coming out, and it looks like OTP is going to take this pretty decisively in just 2 games.
Yeah, definitely decisive is a good word there, Trev. It really was. I mean, from the first game, a lot of it definitely came into the drafting for sure, and that was no doubt a big part of it. But this game, you could argue maybe a little bit of drafting in this game, but not as much, I don't think, as the first game. And I think this was more of a case of OTP just simply playing better than Vitriolic. So definitely deserving, of course, again, and moving on to what's going to be the losers bracket round 3, and they'll see who their opponent is, as I'm looking at the bracket right now, actually. To see if anything's been updated on that, but so they just defeated Vitriolic. They'll be playing apparently Lion Esports Club, who actually who beat Call It Karma 2 games to nothing in their series. So in fact, other results as well. All the series are actually finished right now, so they all ended up being 2-0. Q Squad defeated Pencils 2 games to nothing, and then Druids actually took out FYKU 2-0. So this Druids team actually. They're doing pretty good. They finished 3rd in the gold division in this previous cycle. I believe they started in silver, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
They were in silver in cycle 1, then they made it to, of course, gold. And now, obviously, they're in diamond, and they're getting some big. I mean, they defeated Pudge in their losers bracket matchup initially, then they defeated FYKU. So they initially lost to Stay Green, and again, a respectable opponent there, of course. So I'm interested to see what this Druids team does, especially
after seeing how FYKU performed yesterday against Trademark Esports, and they actually looked pretty damn good. So that's interesting to see. FYKU get taken out 2 games to nothing, not even 2-1.
It is. So yeah, kind of getting some results right there as far as what else is going on. Again, those are the 4 other matches, or 4 matches in total, as you do see on your screen right now, that were happening from the losers bracket for the initial part of today. So that means we are going to have a little bit of a break here. It's only, just after 2 o'clock, I believe now, local time. So the next, the winners bracket semifinal match of Complexity versus Stay Green specifically, that's the one we're planning on covering. That's going to start in about an hour and a half from now. So we will have a little bit of a break here before we get that started. So go ahead, grab some lunch or grab some food, do some exercise, get some jumping jacks in there or whatever. And then be back in about an hour and a half. And then we'll be good for that cast. And let me tell you, I'm obviously very excited for that. I mean, that's really one of the better matchups you can have nowadays, let's be honest, when it comes to competitive HoN. And in Cycle 2, they played each other twice. Stay Green actually beat Complexity 2 games to 1 in that winner's bracket semifinal matchup in Cycle 2.
Yep.
But then in the losers bracket finals, Complexity beat Stay Green. I believe it was even 2-0. So they obviously have some very recent history against one another, and excited to see another best out of 3 between them. So
absolutely, I think it's important for both teams. Stay Green, they want to still be considered one of the top teams.
Yeah.
And so a win here would be important for them. And also complexity. And, there's a lot of speculation as to whether they've really been playing as well as they used to. And I think that's a big thing for them is being able to win that series, is to prove to people that they still have what it takes well, of course they have what it takes, but to look as good as they once did, I feel.
Well, yeah, in the end, I mean, I know a lot of people, they have given a little slack, starting with the DreamHack event where TDM eventually beat them, as you know very well, Trev. No, but so TDM eventually beat them, and
it's
of course,
coming back.
But it's actually going on very nicely. You look very good, Trev. No, but then of course they beat them in both Cycle 1 and Cycle 2, but again, Complexity's been finishing second still. It's not like they've just been completely falling apart and losing everything. I mean, people obviously overreact to an extent, but
what I mean is I do think that they have looked a little bit different since DreamHack. I really do. Now, despite the fact that I think that's true, yeah, they're second place. Like, that's nothing to scoff at all.
Yeah.
Like, they're still looking very damn good, but I do think that they have lost a little bit, and it's simply because they haven't been scrimming all that much. Now, they have been actually scrimming from time to time in the last week or so with the break, and I think they have made improvements since then, and it does pay dividends. So,
and like I said, with the in-house league as well, I really think that is also helping individually, if
Absolutely.
anything. And you actually mentioned they got new bots apparently for that, and some advancements for the in-house league yesterday even. So that's good to hear. It's good to hear that that's even progressing. And a big shout out once again to the in-house league. It's providing a lot of entertainment for us. And
Bartlett,
I believe. Yeah, he's been around for a while, I believe. So. Anyways, there was one other thing, and we'll talk about more of this later on. Let's actually talk about it a little bit right here while we do have since we are going to go into a little bit of a break.
Sure.
But I wanted to bring up real quickly, early this morning, late last night, whatever you want to say. Okay, this is kind of funny because I think it was like 6-7 months ago even, a Malaysian tournament was announced by Garena. That ended up being a total prize pool of something like 500,000 RM, which is their local currency. It came out to be about $160,000 prize pool. I mean, that's a lot of money. Obviously, some of the most money we've seen ever, not only in HoN, but even in gaming in general.
Yeah.
And it ended up, the finals for that, it ended up concluding actually late last night, early this morning, like I said. And the winning team, Orange Esports Malaysia. Big shout out to those guys. Their full roster. And it's a WTF, Wong Wong, XXF, Shuyu, and Mr. Ghost, I believe, is their 5-man roster. Those guys, of course, we've seen them at DreamHack a couple times. They've been around the international scene for a little bit. An awesome team, very deserving. They actually took home approximately $100,000 as a result of winning that thing.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a whole lot of coverage on it, unfortunately. There really hasn't been many news articles posted about it, and I feel shitty to me because obviously that's a huge event, one of the biggest. That's the biggest single event in HoN's history as far as prize pool goes.
It's the largest prize pool for any gaming event in Malaysia at all.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they've been posting.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I was watching a little bit of it, and to be fair, and just these are the games that I watched, but. It was like no contest, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Orange Esports, and it's cool because it really shows you the strength too of like the entire int scene. Really, I mean, in Orange Esports, they performed awesome at DreamHack. Like I was so happy to see how they performed, especially leading up to the event. They honestly didn't look that good, but they're a very resilient team, and they practiced a lot. They were constantly looking for scrims with the int team specifically because they wanted to pick up on what strategies were working in the int scene, and those are the strategies that they were using in the games that I watched in this tournament. Things like Meraxis Aluna mid with a strong jungler in Tempest, Plague Rider solo bottom as a suicide, and then Draconis as their solo short. I mean, these are things that we see TDM and the top teams in the end scene do, and they were crushing teams with these strategies. So well played to them. Congratulations to all the members of Orange Esports.
Yeah, it kind of reminds you, again, it's really unfortunate that there wasn't more information out there, at least that I've been able to find from who I've talked to. I mean, it just simply, there just hasn't been, but it really reminds you that the NA European scene is obviously what we cover the most, and we've been doing so for the longest time, and you could argue that it is the most competitive out there to an extent, but their international scene, I mean, it is thriving, man. It is going strong. A huge tournament they just finished up with for the Malaysia region. Orange Esports, you have teams like that over there, and there's plenty others, I'm sure, that are definitely continuing to upcoming. And again, the player base alone, the amount of concurrent players over there is actually more than the NA European clan. It's actually pretty ridiculous how much more it is. So, I'll do my part. I mean, we'll do our part to try to get more and more information on that. But again, it's kind of seems like it's kind of just been, I don't want to say hidden from us necessarily. It's been hard to find is a better way to put it. So anyway, so I just want to give you guys that news to make you more aware. There is actually an article on ghostedgamers.net/HoN that actually kind of explains it a little bit. So if you want to check that out. But all right, so there you go. Giving the shout out to those guys again for being victorious and getting a good chunk of change, good chunk of respect, and the title and everything, and very, very deserving. So,
yeah,
we are going to take just about an hour and a half break here, and then we'll be coming back with our winners bracket semifinal matchup, ladies and gentlemen. We have Complexity going to be taking on Stay Green about an hour and a half from now. With that said, I believe we are planning to turn off the stream, and then we'll be coming back at you at that's going to be 12:30 p.m. Pacific, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 21:30 Central European Time, if I did my math correctly. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a good time. Until then, we'll see you about an hour and a half from now. Complexity versus Stay Green. See you then.